Plaksha is a new institution. Our senior-most undergraduate cohort is entering their 4th year, which is their final year, and they will be graduates by summer of 2025. And we are still setting up processes and systems to establish ourselves as the leading tech university in India. What are some of the rules, written or unwritten, that Plaksha should have in its DNA?
Yeah, that is a very hard question. First of all, I've been fortunate to never have to build a university. I've been fortunate to be the inheritor of the enormous investments that were made in the 19th century and throughout the 20th century, kind of coming into institutions that were already mature. And of course, one of the lessons from that is that each of these institutions had great strengths, but also huge flaws, right? So they were vintage, literally vintage 1860, where building structures around German ideas of what a discipline was. So you had biology, chemistry, and then what is biochemistry, and where do you fit in genomics in that? One big lesson is that there are these vintage effects, and so the opportunity to build a new institution around modern science is like, oh my gosh, you can actually have these new syntheses of knowledge in a single working group of people who will collaborate across what would otherwise be a totally separate building with different lines of authority, different promotion, but now if you can combine it, maybe this new vintage institution can be vastly more productive.
But I'd like to know, what are some of the cultural attributes of these places where you've been associated with that have led to higher innovation or have led to higher productivity of the faculty members or the students, or the collaborations between faculty and students? And what is it that makes a university succeed in terms of its research?
Yeah, this gets right to your sort of core field of personnel economics and just understanding how to structure selection of the faculty in the first place, how to structure the collaborative environment for them, and how to reward success. I think the huge opportunity of starting with younger people is important, as well as the vintage of the organizational structure itself, because there's a life cycle to productivity, and for innovation and novelty, in some fields it really helps to have younger people. In other fields it takes a lot so the peak creativity in certain disciplines is much later than in other disciplines, or other fields, I should say, just because you need to acquire more tacit knowledge before you can connect the dots. Whereas in other fields, you can have a insight-driven, where mathematicians produce their greatest work in their late 20s, and visual artists often produce their greatest work in their 60s. Why? Well, because they need more components and more experience to have success in one field, whereas you need more raw insight in another field.
So the key learning is that don't hire old mathematicians and young visual artists, right?
Yeah, or maybe a mix.
All right.
A mix.
Great, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this lovely conversation and sharing your insights, and I hope that we can host you again at Plaksha in the near future, and you do keep coming back to India for either seminars or conferences or sabbaticals or teaching. I think that you'll find that there's a world out here, and I hope you find Plaksha to be a home away from home for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a wonderful visit so far. I look forward to continuing today.